Hey guys, this is Mangal from Team Impact. Join with me is Mr. Ajesh Saklecha, an extraordinaire. So, sir, let me start with my first question. You took commerce and MBA as your degree, but right now you're pursuing your field in automobiles and AI. What brought in the shift?
I've always been an automobile guy from small.
Okay.
But in case originally I wanted to do aeronautical engineer, but that didn't happen. So I decided to go into commerce because that was easiest, because being from a North Indian family and Marwadi, obviously finance business comes in our blood. So that's what everyone puts in your head. So we said, okay, let's go for it. But again, passion is passion. So I'm a technocrat by passion. So I was the youngest assembler of computers in Chennai as well in '96. So that's where I think being associated with the hardware and the engineering side of it, make sure that it is something that I like to do and I love to do. So I think automobiles and tech, everything comes together. So when I lived in US for about 10 years and worked, I think the biggest advantage brought to me was this, because I understood tech, I understood business, and I understood finance. So for me, it was easy to put everything, things together, and give an intelligence for the corporates in terms of how product have to be designed, what is that you need, and things like that. So that helps me be in this space as such. So I think being a MBA or business helps you understand the business nuances of it. But I think if you understand the technology part of it, that has to be coming from inside. Even if you do a engineer, I think unless you want to be an engineer and you study for it or you put your hard work for it, yes, I don't think you are going to become an engineer, yes, as such. So that's a short or a long version of the answer.
Yes, sir. So, and can you give me an example of how customers' feedback has brought in a significant change in your company in the recent years?
See, that's always been a focus, and that has to be a focus.
Yes, sir.
So for me personally, and all my businesses across the last 25 years, including my own clients, what I look at is two parts of it, right? The two elements of any business is the assets. That is basically a customer and the employee.
Yes.
Whereas people mostly take only the customer as an asset. So you have to take both of them. So when it comes to customers as such, unless I don't deliver what the customer wants, I won't be surviving. I won't be existing. So you have to first, if I need to do something for him, I have to understand him, right? If I take my automobile dealerships, we have made service calls and service associated with our customers, trying to call them and understand what they have a problem. And then we have an AI system, and we have a couple of other technology that has been embedded to tell us exactly what is happening and what is that you need, what needs to be refined. So unless you don't do a customer-centric design or customer-centric any kind of a product, is not going to be possible to get into that.
Yes, that's really fantastic. And now EV is currently an emerging market.
Yeah.
Like, what struggles does your company face, and what things have you done to overcome those struggles right now?
There's a lot of struggles. Few we have overcome, and a lot many there that has to be overcome. The few things that we always had a challenge is basically when we started in 2019. Mostly, I think I should give credit to my founder Deepak. When we started in 2019, specifically getting into making an electric car, the first thing people said is you cannot make it in India. It's not possible to make an electric car in India. Then people said that you cannot make a software-defined car in India. Then you cannot make a form factor of a smaller car in India. Only big cars will sell, because everyone has a notion of what they see from rest of the world, mostly Tesla. So everyone looking for you to make a next Tesla. So, but as I said, and the other question that you asked, customer centric.
Yes,
so
sir.
I have to define something for Indian market and Indian context. And that's where it worked, is we went and understood what is needed in the market, what is the customer needs, what is that the government needs, what is that the entire ecosystem is talking about, right? You have to reduce carbon, which is mostly in the taxi and the logistics sector, right? So we want to see where the higher kilometers are used and what is their pain point and how I can address it.
Yes.
So with the electric, what we try to do is make sure that we build tech, we build a platform that is modular, not only one single body style, 7 different. So these kind of things that we have added into it, so that making sure that from the customer feedback, we have made a product that they are use case. But coming to the difficulty part of most of this, we have avoided by making sure that we are able to do our research and get the details from outside as well.
Yes.
But when it comes to growth, that comes in the pain of funding. Obviously, India is still not a very a market that invests into R&D or infrastructure or things like a car project, because everyone starts competing, thinking you are a competitor to Tata and Mahindra, which is not the case. So that is a challenge. We have to change the mindset. thanks to Comet, a lot of things have changed for us as well, because now people know that we can make a small car at
Yes,
six and a half lakhs. There is a form factor possible. There is an electric vehicle with similar to a Tesla engineering is what is possible in India.
Yes.
So these in the last 4 years, 5 years have changed in the thought process of the people. I'm happy that we have been able to be part of that changing the thought process of people.
That's really fantastic to hear. So, and for my final question, usually, as you mentioned, you started your company in like 2019, but recent days only youngsters take up the risk of pursuing a startup. But what made you pursue your idea so late after these many years of experience to start a startup just recently?
As a matter of fact, my first startup was in 2002 in the US. And the startup was not the name that was coined at that time.
Yes.
So that time it was a .com bubble.
Okay.
Then you have the app bubble, and now you have the startup
Yes, sir.
going on, right? So it's the names that is getting coined. So I've always been a businessman who is serial entrepreneur, what we normally call ourselves as. And I call myself as a parallel entrepreneur because we have multiple businesses that we do at some point of time. But coming to the startup, EV is one of the places where I've become an operator. That basically means I'm putting my own self time and effort in building the startup. If not, you have another AI mobility startup that part of. I think startup gives you an edge over others in terms of hypergrowth. And today, if you see in the industry, if you go and say you're XYZ company and you're building a tech, and if you're saying you're a startup and you're building a tech, today, even big corporates and others will actually lean towards the startup than the other company. So that is the advantage startups has brought about. And that's where I think today, if you go as a startup, they defined for being the new tech and new. And that's one of the advantages that I think everyone should take about.
That's really fantastic to hear, sir. And thank you for sharing your time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.